Hey guys, Artosis here, bringing you some more BSL action. We're in the round of 8, and this is a best of 5 versus between two of the best non-Korean players. Here in the bottom left, we have none other than the champion of last season. It's Mihu. And in the top right, a top NA Protoss player, it's Boa. The map is Eclipse, and Boa gonna start it out with a proxy gate. All right, sending this probe out immediately. This is gonna be really interesting to see exactly how Mihu likes to deal with very aggressive forward gateway placement here from Boa. Well, okay, yeah, I was gonna say he's going awfully far to be making that forward gateway, but normally you don't need to steal the gas this early anyways. All right, so gonna go ahead, throw the pylon down. Now, I can tell you, Boa's Zealot rushes on this map, they're pretty good, but I think his follow-ups are much, much better. This guy, I've actually played against him a lot of times on this map specifically, and he always likes to proxy gate, steal your gas, but then he just gets into the 3-base macro that is so, so strong. So, a nice little gateway placement here. This is almost reminding me of a certain clip from a certain Protoss player. Hopefully that Zealot does not get stuck. But anyways, it blocks that barracks just momentarily. Kind of interesting on the first depot. That's not a very helpful location for that depot. I guess you could wall this off technically, but I don't think that's all that useful. We'll see how that ends up going down, but immediately Mihu trying to repair his own SCV and attack the probe a little bit. Okay, takes this SCV off the racks. And, well, Boa taking a little bit of damage here. Of course, the latency between these two is probably not really perfect, China to North America. Now the Zealot on the way. By the way, while we wait for this Zealot to come out and wreak some havoc in Mihu's base, big cheers to Zero for putting on the BSL and letting me cast these replays. I think the round of 8 looking absolutely fantastic again this time. Very excited to see how it goes down. All right, so Mihu, no second racks or anything. Where's his second depot? Oh, okay, there it is. Late on the second depot, honestly. And we actually do have the Zealot stuck. So it's not just B Protosses that get their Zealot stuck here. It's also highly S-ranked top foreigner Protosses. Pretty surprising, honestly, to get this stuck. I mean, yeah, it's surprising. Anyways, gateway at home here for Boa. Wow. And the gateway now unpowered. Well, the bunker is already up, and he's killing off the gas, and everything is looking pretty damn good for Mihu right now. I mean, if you have to unpower your own gateway to get your Zealots out, like the amount of time that takes, there was literally 0 harassment put on against Mihu. Who will now just go back and start mining once again. So, really looking at this position, this is like greatly favoring me. Who's up 4 workers, literally took 0 harassment damage, sitting here completely safely with his 4 Marines. Kind of an interesting bunker placement. It's kind of like a zoning bunker where you can always micro back to it. So that's kind of a cool thing. His SCV comes out and runs into those 2 Zealots immediately. Will get picked off there. Range on the way right now for that 1 gateway. And it's really pretty brutal for Boa that he only has 1 gate in production right now, right? Like, he could have kept on some Zealot pressure. He could have been rallying out goons from more than 1 gate and just kind of holding Mihu up his ramp, but that's not going to be something that he's able to do this time. Now, the factory goes down. More Marines are being made, so it looks like Mihu's just going to add a lot of power to his initial unit group here to make sure he can push down and actually take his low ground. I think he's probably unaware that this is unpowered at this point, so probably thinks that there's more units out than there really are. Second gateway coming up here for Boa, so he will be able to produce into a fair amount of Dragoons here. Looks like scouting around, just making sure that there's nothing over here like a proxy barracks or anything like that. That has become a little bit more trendy lately. Zealots being sent out just to do some additional scouting as well. So Boa being pretty careful about that. Mihu scouts this, and he knows exactly what happened here. He knows it's unpowered, so it's like, okay, well, I didn't unpower it. Anyways, we have an engineering bay coming up. There are 7 Marines, I believe. Yeah, 7 Marines, 2 factories. So it's like a pretty solid play here from Mihu. I'm actually surprised he's completely queued up on SCVs. I feel like he should just start a command center as opposed to spending, 200 extra minerals on queued SCVs. But he's going to send these Marines down, clear out this gateway, and we'll see if he's planning on a push or something else. Now, there's 3 goons as well as 2 zealots out right now for Boa. Honestly, against 7 Marines and incoming siege tanks, I think you're completely fine here. A turret coming down for Mihu as well. Still no... Okay, there we go. Finally does get that command center started. Robo coming up here for Boa as well. I think likely that he'll be going into Reaver with that. Obviously, Reaver going to be a great counter to things like Marines or quick pushes coming across the map. A couple more tanks coming up. Having an interesting place to put an engineering bay here as well. But yeah, a completely protected ramp right now as Boa gets his Nexus going. Academy coming up. Couple SCVs to block the ramp as well. Mihu not with a lot of intel right now, right? Like, we can take the vision off and show. He sees just a bunch of units down here, and he's a little bit nervous, it looks like, about a push coming up. So he has blocked the ramp there. Oops. Pick off all the vision, a little bit harder to cast that way. Additional siege tanks coming. Siege mode is going to be done pretty quickly here. And obviously as siege mode finishes, this is very easy to push back, and Boa will just pull back. I can't imagine him staying to fight there at all. Now, observatory coming up here for Boa. Just a couple observers. Okay, so maybe not into that quick Reaver. Now, the 3 goons did siege up, so he's already lost a goon, taking a big hit there on a Zealot as well, and just gets out of range before another volley hits one of those goons. So not losing too much, and he has slowed this reasonably, but you can see that the SCV count is still a little bit higher than what Boa has. Don't forget that Boa did cut some probes and everything for that early attempted aggression. Oh, the command center flying in way the wrong direction. I think that may have been actually... he clicked the barracks where the command center was supposed to go and the command center where the barracks was supposed to go. So a bit of a mistake there, slowing him down a little bit, but not the biggest deal. 3rd Nexus coming up over at that 3rd base. And there it is, delayed Reaver. This seems to be pretty popular amongst North American Protosses, at least some of the good ones. Like, for instance, Boa and Jayun, I've noticed, do this a fair amount where the Reaver actually comes out just a bit later, and they won't even necessarily use it for harassment. A lot of times it's just a containment tool. Now, this is a lot of Marines and a lot of siege tanks, so it's a kind of scary army. The Observer is coming down, but Boa's army is, like, way out of position. If you have your army standing here, you can kind of slow this down, but since he's so far back, if Mihu makes it across the map, this army doesn't fight that well against this army. So, yeah, Boa pretty far back. I guess he'll get the Reaver out a little bit after these siege tanks get there. I really do wish he would have run to the high ground, just taken at least a few volleys. Nice scan there from Mihu to take down the Observer. And it is going to be a counterattack, but, you know, counterattacking down the long path is not nearly as powerful, I would say. Now, these Marines and siege tanks going to get towards the natural very, very quickly indeed. Boa with his counter. There's really nothing here right now, so this is very problematic. It looks like we're going to enter a little bit of a base trade. Now, a lot of times that goes well for Protoss, but this is a good block from Mihu. He's laying a lot of mines up here. The turret can kind of zone goons from going up the ramp, but a lot of damage is being dealt. Boa immediately gives up his natural expansion here, getting some Reavers out. If he gets a couple good Scarabs, that is going to help him immensely. Now, Boa picking off a lot of these SCVs. That worker count going lower and lower and lower. Let's see if he can get some good Reaver hits. Okay, gonna drop some Zealots on top of all this. And let's see what that Scarab looks like. Ooh, that's a very nice Scarab that we just saw there. A lot of damage being put down. Looks like he doesn't get a second one off. Little bit sloppy there, unfortunately. Only one good Scarab thus far. Taking a look over here, the Goons are still alive. Looks like they will be cleaned up for the most part, so Mihu is only mining off of one base. But let's see how much damage he can actually get done. Ooh, the Reaver takes out both of those Vultures that were harassing his mineral line. Both sides very, very low on those workers. More gates being added on here from Boa. Gosh, this is, I don't know if he can actually break through here. How many scans do we have? Okay, 2 scans right now, and there are two DTs coming out, so it looks like he should have enough for that, but they, God, even kills one of the gates before it pops out as well. I think that's about it, man. I think that Mihu has killed Boa off. Some big mistakes. GG, Mihu takes game 1.